Using incident angle as the input parameter of a gradient comes in useful to create the Fresnel effect on shiny surfaces by applying it to the specularity and reflection channels of a surface. It can also be used to create ink outlines on objects that mimic the look of traditional 2D animation. In this demo, I'd like to show you how to use incident angle as the input parameter of a gradient to create an eye surface that will always look at the camera. I've got this sphere loaded up and I've got Viper loaded so that we can go ahead and see our surface changes in real time. I'm going to go to the surface editor and click on the default surface, open up the edit nodes window, okay, and I'm going to start creating the surface. I'm going to start by creating a gradient, and I'm going to go ahead and plug that into the color channel so that we can, as we build our gradient, we can see what's happening. I'm going to change the input parameter to incident angle. And the way incident angle works is that on the edges of the sphere will be up here, so I'm going to go ahead and make that white. And then as you get to the center, or where the camera is viewing, it's down here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a couple more keys. And as you can see, when I make this blue key, we get right here, we get the blue surface, but here in the center where the camera is looking directly at it, I'm going to go ahead and feed a black key for the pupil. Okay, and by adjusting the keys, I can get the look that I want for my eye. If I want to dress up the iris, what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and go to this key, key 3, and I'm going to show output, so I can close this, and it shows the output channels here. So what I'm going to do is go over to, say, something like veins, and I'm going to plug the color of veins into the color of that key, and it shows up here. I'm going to go ahead and change the colors on this to blues, so it's a little closer to what we had, except now I've got more detail because I'm driving this key by this procedural. I could also go back to the white key, key 1, and feed a procedural or an image map into that to get the white veins if I want. But let's take a look at the eye when we start moving the camera around. So I'm going to go ahead and close the node editor, and I'll close the surface editor and Viper, and we'll take a look. With the camera in the default position right here, I'm going to go ahead and do a test render. Okay, and we can see that the eye is looking directly at the camera. Okay, I'm going to just move this over here. I'm going to go to frame 20, and let's move the camera, and we'll take a look at the side of the eye, and we'll do a test render. And as you can see, the eye is still looking at the camera. It will always look at the camera because the incident angle never changes. It's always going to be from the edge of the surface to the point at which the camera is facing the object. Be sure to try feeding different types of nodes into each key of the gradient to get specific looks on your eye. This is just one of many uses for using incident angle as the input parameter of a gradient.